And to trending now, and that's got to include two twin troubles for the royal family. Huge headaches caused by the hangers-on and the also-rans. First, Prince Andrew, the Queen's second son. Turns out that he actually did do what he once claimed to the London Times not to remember. Couldn't possibly have happened. Give a private tour to Buckingham Palace to actor Kevin Spacey into a woman, GHISLAINE MAXWELL, where he let them both sit on the royal thrones. Spacey has since been accused of multiple sexual harassments, and Maxwell is now under arrest for allegedly procuring underage girls for a close friend, now dead friend, pedophile tycoon Jeffrey Epstein, also a friend of Prince Andrew himself, who is accused of sleeping with one of Epstein's girls, pimped out to him. That's Maxwell there to the right in the background. Now, Daisy Cousins is indisposed. Filling in is Corrine Barraclough, a writer, former award-winning editor of Celebrity magazine, New Weekly. She's also a regular contributor to The Spectator. Excellent magazine, excellent contributions. Now, Corrine, how serious is this getting, and what can the Queen do about it?
It is actually now, Andrew, it's getting incredibly serious. You know, we have to remember here that previously GHISLAINE MAXWELL had been protected by Epstein's plea deal agreement, but now he's gone, that's gone too. So now she's staring down the barrel of potentially 35 years in jail. She has millions in the bank. It was a very dramatic arrest last Thursday, reportedly including 15 vehicles and planes, so she has not gone quietly. She knows an awful lot. She was obviously a former partner of Epstein. And there is lots of talk that she's not particularly mentally stable or mentally strong. And with that much money, if she chooses to cooperate, then it could become actually a matter of who she decides to, what she decides to talk about and who she decides to throw under the bus. And we're potentially talking about, yes, we've got Prince Andrew there, we've got Bill Clinton, there's potentially Trump. So there's a complete who's who of the rich and powerful. As for the Queen, Prince Andrew actually has already stepped away from royal duties. The Queen could officially step in and officially remove him from the royal family, which would remove his diplomatic immunity, and that could mean that he could face extradition if it came to it. But obviously, the British government and Priti Patel will be very much hoping that this does not come to a battle of the US versus the royal family. Really, Andrew needs to do the right thing by the alleged victims, and he needs to do the right thing by his own mother.
Yeah, well, I think so too. Absolutely. You're right to point out, by the way, you know, Prince Andrew is a broken reed. This investigation is actually into a lot of very, very much more consequential figures in the United States. Now, just a side note, but this really intrigued me because I note that the BBC and various, you know, respected newspapers like Britain's Telegraph and perhaps less respected Channel 10's The Project are all quoting a friend of Maxwell in her partial defence, in Maxwell's partial defence. Here is this friend, Laura Goldman, friend of Maxwell, on The Project over the weekend.
You know, she was in love with Jeffrey Epstein. It doesn't excuse what she did, but she really thought that he would marry her. You can be both a predator and a victim. There's no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. I have no problem with her going to jail.
Now, what confuses me here, Corrine, is that no one's actually established if this woman is much of a friend of Maxwell. Do they bump into each other? Are they bosom buddies? She seems to me someone who's more familiar with the inside of a courtroom, to be honest, but I don't know. What have you picked up?
Well, real, true friends do not speak to the media, do they? And they certainly don't go on blazing a trail around the world's media. Having come from a kind of tabloid media background, what happens is somebody in one country, if they will be looking for who is speaking, and she has now stepped forward, much in the way that we saw with Meghan's sister, she's now put herself on the map as the person who will speak about this. So she, as you say, she's done a string of interviews in London. She did the BBC. She's basically doing a media tour. And I would always be incredibly suspicious about so-called friends that are taking advantage of a situation like this. It's clearly not a true friend. Yeah, I'd be incredibly suspicious.
Well, this is a woman, of course, who was convicted of stalking someone that she once had an affair with, and other people who's making accusations. And she made incredible series of threats, and she fled to Israel and then came back, and then she was sentenced to very severe home detention and all that. I don't know, but maybe there's something lacking in her credibility factor, in my personal opinion, if you're still allowed to have one. Now, Corrine, just briefly, there's also the then runaway royal Meghan Markle suing the Daily Mail in London for publishing part of a letter she sent to her father. Documents in the court case have been released. I don't think they paint a very great picture of Markle, do they?
No, they definitely don't. And here we've got Meghan is the exact polar opposite of Kate. Kate waited for years, knew exactly what she was getting into, and she lives and breathes by the book. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have Meghan, who is repeatedly showing that she wants to shame this brand into submission. She wants to force change by doing damage, basically, to the brand of the royal family. She wants to play the victim role, no doubt. You know, being an actress, she will play it very well, and I would say that many people will fall for it. And I would say she has really, really shown that she will stop at nothing to throw everybody under the bus. So I would imagine that there's all sorts of more damaging revelations to come.
Yeah, she claims she felt unprotected by the institution during a pregnancy, prohibited from defending herself against press stories, that the press at Buckingham Palace should have raced out for the thousands of stories she said got her wrong. Like, I don't think she knows the difference between not liking or criticising her behaviour and actually getting something wrong. And on and on and on. And she got 5 friends, that's the issue. Did she get 5 friends to defend herself to the Daily, to the media? More of these friends of friends.